Hi, I'm Kimberly Woodard with Ebby Halliday Realtors. I'm sitting here with Mortgage and Beyond, and we are going to share with you the top 3 things to do if you're going to be selling in 2025.
The number one thing is make sure you understand the reason why you're selling and where you're going after you sell the house. This can be a little bit, unknown until you really sit down with your family and friends and really talk about your needs, because we have seen people change their needs throughout the year.
Yeah.
The most, I would say, the obvious one would be once your kids are off to college, you don't need the second story anymore. You don't need the game room anymore. So that would be your why of selling. And also the baby boomers. Baby boomers are transitioning to a little bit easier to maintain properties. Maybe when your kids were at home, you had this big swimming pool that you haven't really used more than like 3 times in 2024. So you want to actually move into a community, you might have pickleball courts because you would help you to be more active.
Right.
So understand the reason why you're selling.
So number 2 is timeline. So what is your ultimate goal? I always sit down with my potential sellers and ask them, when do you want to be in that new place? So then we can work backwards from that timeline, from getting the house ready to everything that needs to be done. Having that game plan, having that timeline of when you ultimately would like to be in that new home will also help you as well.
Yeah, and I would say it's like, do you have any flexibility?
Yes.
Or if you don't have any flexibility because you have a job relocation, you have kids need to be enrolled in school, that is something that we need to put everything on the table when you're meeting with real estate agent, because your real estate agent is a professional mentor guide, is going to actually make sure that you meet the deadline, right? So if you are flexible, then your realtor might say, when you guys see a house not 100% perfect, your realtor might say, well, we have some time to actually wait around to see if there's another one's coming up.
Right.
Or you might say, I have a relocation, I need to start my job in 75 days, and you really don't have that much of flexibility.
Right.
Yeah. So the number 3 do is definitely work with a professional realtor, and I would even add, was realtor to have really good track record.
Like myself. But seriously, you do want someone to go in, do a CMA, so you know what the price is, so you can do your price structure. Also, I go through with my sellers, and a lot of times my seller is, thinking, oh, I should do this to the home to sell it, or this to sell it. And then I come in and I have a totally different game plan, because maybe this will bring more value and we'll use that money, or maybe it's even less than they were thinking about spending. Maybe you were thinking, let's redo, the entire backyard or whatever. And I say, well, you know what, the house really could use a nice coat of paint throughout to neutralize it. And so instead of redoing the backyard, maybe we can lessen it with just making it look nice, with trimming the bushes, putting some mulch down, and letting that blank slate for the buyer, but freshening the appearance, because a fresh coat of paint can do wonders.
Absolutely. And I actually have a list, and you might be amazed how many tasks a realtor would do for you during the whole process.
Yes.
Last time I looked at the list, it was like over 95 things. So just think about, if you don't work with realtor, first of all, you're going to be putting all that task on yourself. And then the second thing I would say, the good real estate agent that was track record, not only they're very good with numbers and they know how much your house is worth, but just like Kimberly said, she is constantly keeping up with the trend.
Right.
So when you're putting your house on the market, when you purchased that house 10 years ago, the brown, the dark gray, and the darker wood floor was still very trendy, and that's why you paid the top dollar for it, because you love the look.
Right.
But the new buyer for your home might want something completely different. So you don't want to go in and waste any money on renovating and updating until you understand what the new buyer wants. And this is just a very simple of, when you have any product you're looking to sell, you need to sell to the buyer. It's not about you anymore, right? You might not like wallpaper, but right now, if the buyers want wallpaper and a roll of wallpaper is $150, that is going to increase so much of a dramatic effect. When someone walk in, and Kimberly will tell you exactly what to do to save money on renovation and also increase the value, is that whole ratio she's going to be working on.
It is. And the other thing it brings to a point is, we're going to do any little repairs that, you have that leaky faucet. Oh, it's time to repair that. Let me just tell you that. Because that buyer, even though that could be maybe, say, a $50 repair because it's very simple, the buyer's going to think it's $5,000. They're always going to think it's more than what it really is. And then the other thing is staging, and that's kind of depersonalizing, taking yourself away from the home for that moment. I know you probably love those curtains. They matched all your decor, but guess what? They're really heavy. And we want that buyer to see the natural light that airs into that room. And so we may be taking them down. We may be, packing some things away because we may have a lot of furniture. You have a lot of family that comes in, so you have this dining room table and you squeezed as many chairs around it as you could. Well, now that dining room, instead of looking so spaciously enlarged to the buyer, looks very crowded. And so we're going to remove some of those chairs, make those rooms look spacious, make those closets look like you have so much storage. Those are some of those tips of staging. Staging isn't always necessarily the decor, the decorating. And I think that's a miscommunication concept that people have in their minds. It is to basically situate the features of that home that the buyer is going to be drawn to, because the things are leaving. It's the things that are there.
By removing a lot of personalized item, buyer can actually see your home. They can actually see the window, they can see the daylight. And then we also, in another video, we talked about not to be so emotionally attached.
Yes.
Once someone have lived in the house for 10 years, like those things are just so natural part of your home. So, and you don't realize what you have anymore.
Right.
When you walk into a really crowded room, you might just feel like this is my dining room. But when someone else like Kimberly walk through it, and she's gonna have a fresh set of eyes, and it's only gonna help you. And that is not something you can ever Google online, because it's personalized service that has to be applied to you once she walks through your house. 2025 is going to be a very busy year for real estate. I think we're going to see a lot of buyers and sellers coming back to the market. There's a lot of forecasts out there saying that the value in 2025 is going to continue to go up anywhere between 3 to 7%. So the seller is going to be more motivated, the buyer is going to be more excited. So that's why
I am happy to help. So if you have any questions, I'd love to connect with you. Put it down here in the comments below. We'll get back to you and set an appointment to discuss selling in 2025.
Thank you for joining us.